You're watching Real Simple News on Thursday, June 4th. I am your host, Cale McCullough, captain of the Kabuki Starship. And today's top story, George Floyd tests positive for COVID-19, meth, and fentanyl. And Ivory Tower Liberals kiss Black Lives Matter ass for votes and likes on social media and advertising money. So I'm going to show you why they're doing it here. First, top story of the day here as the George Floyd protests continue in for a 10th day across the U.S. as activists insist that they will not back down on demands for police to reform and end to systemic racism. Systemic racism. Really? So by systemic racism, you mean the Democratic Party panders to minority groups because they used to be white supremacist, and they've always been controlling the hood Democrats. Who reads the fake news? Democrats in the city. The hood Democrats, because Democrats started the KKK because they owned slaves, and then they opposed women's suffrage. And then they turned into white feminists, like these privileged white women, one saying cops murdered George Floyd. Why are all these people out here? Why are these white women out here putting these signs up that they see on social media? Why? They benefit from it. They wouldn't be out there if they didn't think they benefited from it, right? How do they benefit from it? Because under white feminism, the 5-tier racial caste system, where it used to be white man on the top, white woman below that, black man, then a black woman, and then everybody else in any order you want to maintain control, right? What they've done is they flipped the white woman onto the top and the black woman above the black man, right? That's white feminism. They used to be racist. Then they turned into hood Democrats, rad femmes, and Ivory Tower liberals who control the rest of them. The rad femmes went to be in the Ivory Tower, but they got some bullshit degree like women's studies. So the only job they can get is replacing white people with minorities and women to save corporations money, and because those people are their customer base. So let's check out what these Black Lives Matter Antifa Nazi thugs have been doing. Let's see, what are they doing? They're all trying to get photo ops, right? Right, photo op. Then you got what do you got? Latino black mix. You got let's see, you got some dorky white guy. Look, dude, they're all just there because they wanted to have an experience, man. They don't want to miss this shit. But what's the problem with that? The riots happened because they were there. It wouldn't have happened if they weren't there. But they're all like, oh, no, everybody's a tyrant but me. Like, right. They're like, no, it's still a peaceful protest. It's the next day. We went home. No, it's a different protest. No, it's not a different protest, dude. When people are rioting and looting and killing white shop owners because of fake news and race bait, rage bait, femme bait, clickbait on the fucking internet, man, it's time to go home, dude. It's not a protest. It's a riot. BLM is a hashtag. Civil rights is a movement. Black Lives Matter is a riot and loot group, dude. And so, you know, we can see they're all like glorifying it. You know, they're like, oh, no, it's just a vigil for George Floyd, right? Because he, quote unquote, died because a white cop killed an unarmed black man. Because if it was drugged out black man dies from COVID, meth, and fentanyl because he passed off counterfeit bill and then he resisted arrest, that's not news. That's not rage bait or race bait. Okay? It's not. You don't click on it. Every single one of these people in this picture is not oppressed. You want to see what oppression is? Go to Syria, where real Nazis are. So you got to look at this pattern. they're Antifa, that they're Black Lives Matter hood Democrats in the city, the people that got the bad grades, that the Ivory Tower liberals won't hire, because the people with the good grades are now the women. 2/3 of the graduates coming out of college are women. Why? Because everybody wants to study with them because they're hot. Why do women control 2/3 of the wealth in the United States? Why do they control 85% of consumer spending? Because they have the money, and they're the ones that the Ivory Tower liberals are marketing to, the white feminists. Those are the rich ones. They're the people clicking on the ads. They're not targeting the people up in the hood spending their money on crack, meth, and heroin, dude. They're targeting the people with money who click on the ads. If these black people don't have money, it's because they're too lazy to fucking work, dude. It's because they're trying to come up on social media through Black Lives Matter and through some bullshit YouTube channel with some hip hop shit with some fucking gear they robbed from somebody else. I used to produce music, man. Like I used to throw huge raves. And I've been robbed a lot of times, most of the times by black people. I live in Oregon where there's very few black people, dude. And the rest of the people were radicalized liberals high on drugs, dude. It's true. I've been robbed by gunpoint many times, and it's almost always there's a black dude with them, dude. Why? Because they're high on fucking coke shit. They're like hip hoppers. It's not that they're black. It's that they're hanging out in the hip hop crew. And, you know, here you go. They're all looking for photo ops. They're all like trying to come up. And they feed the narrative themselves. It's because they all want people to click on their ads. They want people to like their post, and 60% of people on Twitter are Democrats. So in order to come up on there, to be able to compete with the other people getting likes, you have to say feel-good messages that this voter base, that the people who are on Twitter agree with. And in order to do that, not even going to go to this word. Look at how many people okay, methed out black man in the fucking city dies from COVID, meth, heroin, and alcohol after he resists arrest. He has a heart attack. We're going to go through. I'll prove to you he had a heart attack. You'll see it. He's complaining about chest pain. How many goddamn people are going to go to that dude's funeral, right? What a bunch of ghetto thugs, right? Meth dealers, right? And then they bring their kids, right? And so, look, George Floyd died. He didn't die because of cops. He died because he was having chest pain, and he then had a heart attack. And he couldn't breathe because he was having a heart attack. He did have meth and fentanyl in his system. Yeah, people who do meth usually sell meth too. And the dude that they were right here, let's look at it, dude. Oh, here, let's shame Cuomo. Cuomo says that ambush where 2 cops were shot and one was stabbed in Brooklyn shows the difficult balance police must strike between keeping the peace. Only you look down and you say it's an immigrant, right? Because the immigrants are radicalized. Why? Why are immigrants radicalized? They vote for Democrats. That's why. It's because the California liberals don't want to enforce their immigration policy to kick out the illegal immigrants. They're harboring illegal immigrants in violation of federal law to boost their votes. Why? Because the children of illegal immigrants will vote for them. That's why. They're harboring illegal immigrants to replace the white people, to boost votes and to rig their seats in Congress, dude. They get more seats in the House when their population grows, dude. They don't care if you're white. They're not racist anymore, right? Only one problem. You don't have to be white to be racist. In fact, some of the racist people in the world are indeed Latinos. Why? Because they were conquistadors. They went and like brutalized and savaged people, dude. They were slave owners, man. The light-skinned Latinos are racist. They are. They're white supremacists. They are racist against black people and American Indians, right? And so I'll do more about immigration later. Here, do they show the guy? They're Ivory Tower liberals. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear to get elected, to get you to click on the ads, and to give them money and power. That's all they're looking for is power. This guy stabbed a cop in the neck. 2 other cops were shot. They're killing cops. They glorify cop killing. Like, who else is in with these violent black gangs, dude? Cartel. Latino gangs. Who else? White supremacist gangs. Where are they at? In the hood. Where the hood Democrats are. So let's have a little reminder of what these people did, dude. These are the white business owners who are oppressing them. It's the same thing the Nazis did, dude. Night of the Broken Glass. This was Week of the Broken Glass. These Nazi tariffs Antifa thugs are like out of control, looting. They're rioting. Sorry, wrong window. As you can see, this business is not owned by a white man. It's a black man. They're targeting white. This is what Night of the Broken Glass. They didn't just target Jews. Look, this entire narrative that Hitler was a white supremacist is also concocted. Hitler did not target Africans. He modeled his laws after Democrat Jim Crow laws to scare off black people with a 5-tier racial caste system. Modeled after the white supremacist because he wanted the Americans to join his side. Look, Hitler crafted it as a means to the end. More about this later here. These are the people who are apparently like supporting all these cops who are now in jail. And I looked at the damage count, and it was actually relatively low. I think the buildings are the most expensive part, honestly. The clothing, they're making them from slaves. All these people complaining about how they're, like, oppressed, right? And I'm oppressed, the white man's oppressed, and they're all buying stuff from slave labor. Dude, none of them, you ever seen any of these people rioting over Chinese slave labor, dude? Serious. You ever seen any of them riot over slave labor? Let's watch the moment that these hood... Oh, wait. We already saw this. But since I accidentally clicked on the wrong video, we're going to watch it again. These are some Black Lives Matter protesters robbing a 1% white-owned business or Chinese-owned business, whoever's controlling them. Apparently, they're the Republicans. I just got in an argument with a neighbor. He thinks Facebook and Twitter are controlled by Republicans because those are the people with the money, right? Yeah, this is the mentality of these people. They just think it's the Republicans. Why? Because white supremacists have always been putting out garbage, dude. Democrats, dude, hardly anybody was in the jail from the war on drugs. There you go, hits the cop. Hardly anybody was in jail from the war on drugs until 1994 when the crime bill got passed, dude. The crime bill. Look, here's another one of another police officer getting ran over by Black Lives Matter Antifa Nazis. Dude, cops aren't Nazis, man. Nazis were Nazis because they didn't stop the rioters on the night of broken glass. So that's why we call this the week of broken glass, because they are certifiably BLM Antifa Nazis. So you think I'm being white supremacist? I'm racist. Let's hear what a black woman has to say about this.
I'm tired of playing these games with Black America. I'm tired of us being considered, not smart, uneducated. I actually saw comments on a random website writing about the article, oh, now wait for black people to start rioting because black people got to be black people. I'm reading these comments and realizing that these people are writing in the comfort of anonymity. And they're writing that their perception of black Americans are people that have very little facts and riot and are angry and have no idea about what's actually going on, or basically understanding that the whole concept of racialized police brutality is a myth, okay? All you have to do is sit down and do basic mathematics to discover that the entire narrative that we have been sold is a lie, okay? It's a lie. There is no racial.
They've been calling me white supremacist, racist, like
black Americans. In fact,
I love this woman.
White American and you commit a violent crime, you have a 25% higher chance of suffering a police fatality than black people. Now, you might come across some people that are really bad at math, and they'll say, Candace, I know that only 9 black people were killed last year unarmed by police officers, and 19 white people were killed unarmed by police officers. But black Americans are only 13% of the population. And
I went and looked up the numbers for how many white people black people kill. In the federal court systems, it was like 500 cases of black people killing white people, and white people killing black people was 234. That's more than double. Black people are 1/6 of the population. When you do the math, you scale it up. 2 times 6 is 12. That's a 12-to-1 ratio of black people killing white people. And they're out here rioting in the streets with white feminists? That's because the Ivory Tower liberals are in control.
White Americans are 60% of the population. So that's why. No, that's not how math works. You don't look at the numbers according to how many black people there are in America and how many white people there are in America, because not all white people commit crimes and not all black people commit crimes. The numbers you look at is how many police encounters black people had versus how many police encounters white Americans had. And when you look at those numbers, you will realize that the only thing we're doing disproportionately in this country is committing crimes. Take 2018, for example, right? 13% of the population, black Americans, accounted for 40% of all of the murders and something like 50% of all violent offenses in the country. That's not normal. We are having more encounters with police, and despite having more encounters with police, white Americans are the ones that are being killed at a higher rate, okay? And Hispanic men at a higher rate.
We should be rioting, right?
And you look, over 100,000 encounters with police, and with white Americans versus black Americans, you will discover that black Americans have less of a chance of having a fatal incident with police officers. Those are the facts, and I really don't care how those facts make you feel. I know it's so easy today being a black person to take the victim narrative, to believe that we're being brutalized by police officers, to believe that these 9 instances of police brutality that happen per annum are a really big deal, but we should shut up about the thousands of black Americans that are being killed by other black Americans.
Yeah.
Matter, right?
Wait, here.
Matter.
Oh.
We kill ourselves. Doesn't matter.
Oh, those numbers, man. It's crazy high, dude. Crazy high. Like, black people are killing themselves at a 3 times higher rate than white people. When you look at it, like, the white people's numbers are still about double, but there's, 6 times more black people, dude.
Matter.
I covered it on the show. Go back in the archives.
We want the police officers to hold our hands. And if, God forbid, something goes wrong in the midst of a police arrest, we want to riot and we want to burn down our own neighborhoods, because that makes so much sense. And we'll ally ourselves with the far left crazy Antifa thugs who know exactly what they're doing.
That's because Hitler set a trap for us, dude. Hitler invented fascism as a means to an end, because Hitler was Marxist, dude. He wanted everyone to be equal. He didn't want to control Africa. He didn't want to control China. How are you going to make all those people Aryans? Stay tuned.
Who know exactly which group of Americans will be the most responsive and the most emotional. They get a couple of big celebrities to tell you Black Lives Matter, and put up a symbol while they're marching with you, because they all think we're stupid. That's the truth. The left thinks we're dumb, okay? And we have to stop proving them right. We have to stop taking the bait. We have to stop accepting a foolish election time narrative that is going to disappear on November 3rd. It's going to be like it never happened.
Ivory Tower Liberals.
Happened. The gap between Philando Castile, who, by the way, was a real victim, who I used my platform to speak out about, right? The gap between Philando Castile and George Floyd is exactly 4 years. What do you think, guys? What do you think this is really about? All they care about is power. All they want to do.
It's always been about that way. Why are they called Ivory Tower Liberals?
Businesses and get you on government dependence. At the same time, poo-pooing you and telling you they're going to fight the big boogeyman of racism. That doesn't.
That's because you need a boogeyman. That's what Hitler invented. Hitler invented a boogeyman. You gotta have two boogeymen, dude. The boogeyman on the right is there to scare you to the left. The boogeyman on the left is there to scare you to the right. Either way, both sides lead to socialism.
Exist as a problematic thing in this country, okay? Are there racists? Of course there are racist guys. There's always going to be racists in this country. Do you want to know why? Because human beings are in this country. And there are black people that are racist towards whites. If you think I'm kidding, go look at some of the articles that are written.
I love this woman.
There are white people that hate white people. There are white people that hate themselves. There are black people that hate black people, right? I think the most
women that are single who are like her, hit me up. I'm single.
People, not by white people, believe it or not, right? The whole Uncle Tom Coon thing, that language, that white liberal.
Oh. Where'd it go? What happened?
You really lost your mind. Black people, not by white people, believe it or not, right? The whole Uncle Tom Coon thing, that language that white liberals taught us, right? We call that to one another. So we have some nerve calling up.
How do you enforce a 5-tier racial caste system? You brutalize the people who can't protect themselves in the 3rd and 4th tier. And then you make house N-words. And they are the ones that enforce the 5-tier racial caste system on everyone else. So the white people don't have to do it.
Other people racist. We are the most
Democrats, dude.
Vicious and racist.
But hey, don't hate on the Democrats too much, dude. The white supremacists were the ones who killed the Nazis, remember? Hitler just tried to trick you to fight with them.
People in this country.
That's what they were trying to do.
When we kill each other faster, when we insult each other faster, when we continue to cater to the bottom denominator of our society, okay? I'm tired of blaming the white. I'm tired of your stupid posts. I'm tired of your little black squares that are supposed to mean something. A bunch of celebrities that want to look at.
Why are they making the posts? They want you to like them, dude. They want you to like their posts. They want you to buy their stuff. They want you to click on the ads. They want you to look at them. They're attention whores.
Power. They don't care about you. Are you stupid?
Ivory Tower Liberals.
Your neighborhoods are burning down, not theirs. They're gonna fund people. Christine, I'm gonna fund getting people out of prison from behind my gated community that's never gonna get burned down, right? It's never gonna get burned down. From behind these security guards that defend me, and will shoot first and ask questions later. But I'm gonna fund the people that are burning down the black neighborhoods and pretend that I'm with black people. We are just complete jokes to the left, right? Because the thing is that they do it every 4 years, and we keep falling for it.
That's because they're into Ivory Tower, trying to pander to minorities to control black people and minorities to maintain the hierarchy.
It's like they're not even switching it up. They're not even switching it up. They're just ruining another generation of black Americans every 4 years. And you want to know what the result of these protests are, besides our neighborhoods burning down, besides our black youth being arrested? We just signed up for another 60 years of black poverty.
Yep,
and
pretty much.
60 years,
It takes a long time to rebuild, bro. It doesn't happen overnight, man.
On the issues and claim it's because of systemic racism and not because they sent a.
We need federal disaster relief funds. It needs to come from Facebook and Twitter and all of these companies who are putting rage bait, race bait, clickbait, fembait in front of your face to maximize the amount of time that you spend on social media through tribalism, through manipulation of your emotional state, through implanting messages in your mind to get you to watch the ads and buy the product.
Bunch of white Antifa thugs to burn down the neighborhoods and to burn down the black businesses and to take all of.
And whose products are they selling? Right? Oh, the wham man, the white man, he's oppressing them. They can't start businesses. They only start 17% of startup companies. But they own 43% of businesses. Why? Because people give them things.
These bricks to windows in businesses and force the business owners to leave. People that can afford to leave and leave these black communities depleted with no jobs. They're going to pretend it's because of white people, not because of their bricks and their riots and their protests. And because Black Lives Matter and a George Floyd, he's not my martyr. George Floyd is not my martyr. He can go be yours, okay? I liked Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant wasn't a career criminal, okay? He was a career basketball player. You want to go have a George Floyd be your martyr? Go have him be your martyr. Put a poster of George Floyd up on a t-shirt. Walk around being idiots. But I want nothing to do
this is
with
exactly
it,
what I've been saying,
okay?
bro.
And to all you black conservatives who think that black conservatism is a trend.
Black conservatives are awesome. I love these people.
But I'm showing that
And Latino conservatives and Asian conservatives, all the rest of them. They ain't nut jobs. You ain't nut. Hey man, if you got human DNA, I love you.
You're spineless and you're uneducated. Go pursue the numbers. If you want to really sound the platform of uplifting our community, cut the crap and tell them the truth. You don't need to be well liked. I'm not well liked. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be well liked.
Dude, people want to kill me right now because they think I'm a white supremacist misogynist. It's all fucking fake. It's because I don't believe the narrative. And it's why. It's because they're using race bait, fembait, clickbait to get you into tribes. You got to block everybody else out, shut out all the opposing voices to be in the echo chamber, because that's the only way that they can rise up in the social hierarchy. When they rise up in the social hierarchy, you go down. That's how the media class works. It's white supremacy.
My job is to be in
It's white feminism. Yeah, and Latino supremacy too, and also black supremacy, because whiteness is inferior to blackness to these people.
Oh, that likes an alarm clock. But when it goes off, eventually you wake up. My job is to wake up Black America, okay? And the only way I can do it is by telling the truth. So thank you guys so much for listening.
I love that woman, dude. So, we could see, obviously, when you riot and you destroy people's things, people start to hate you. I mean, I know this might come as a shock. Hood Democrats are pretty stupid, though. It is actually a shock to these people. So people are now mocking George Floyd, as they should. The methed out black man that died of fucking COVID, meth and fentanyl. I don't give a fuck about George Floyd, dude. He's a meth addict, dude. Meth addicts rob people, dude. People who do heroin, they get other people killed. George Floyd was a sleazebag piece of shit, dude. So, here's an example of how this stuff happens. The Atlantic, a very, very left. The Atlantic's pretty reasonable. I'm going to say I enjoy reading their articles. On the left, the Atlantic is some of the best out there. They're thought-provoking. I'm not criticizing those liberals. They're not the Ivory Tower liberals. The Ivory Tower liberals are the ones that are at the top of the Ivory Tower, dude. The other people are trying to get to the top. They just work there, right? Like the rad femmes, the ones that like got some BS degree, like women's studies, and then they're only working at the Ivory Tower to replace the white males and the black kids because their grades aren't good enough to replace them with women and minorities, but they can't hire black people, so they're stuck with Latinos because they have way too many Asians, because Asians are some of the richest people in America now because they have a good attitude towards education and they get good grades and they try hard. Unlike the black kids. So let's look at this picture here. We got who is on top of George Floyd. And then, so let's see, we got the Asian. Okay, starting from left to right, we have Asian dude. Next one over, we have Derek Chauvin, who, yes, he was involved in 3 shootings, and he's had 17 complaints. But if you're working up in the hood, dude, kind of seems pretty low to me. That's why some of the other guys were rookies. Like, this dude had the most experience out of the bunch, but they're trying to portray his experience as this guy is like a white supremacist. Oh, he got complaints, right? Dude, every person that is like some drug dealer who got some charge is going to make a complaint against the officer, dude. Come on, man. So then we have the mulatto guy, which is not a racist term. No. In Portuguese, mole means mule. But they're spelled this. There's a spelling thing. Nobody thinks that's actually a racist term. Only white feminists. Only people on the internet who think everybody in the world uses that term, dude. This is another example of how they use words to change the words, to change the meaning by convincing you that it's white supremacist or racist. And so Floyd's friend said George did not resist arrest before death. And I'm going to agree, he did not resist arrest before death. But we're going to look at, where's the video? Oh, there was a video on here. Maybe it's in the next one. We're going to watch some videos of the Floyd death so we can disprove this whole notion that George Floyd did not resist arrest. Okay, so here's the video of the pullover, the very beginning of the incident. There's the dude who looks like he could possibly be probably an ex-gang member. They look like they might be selling drugs. Probably high on meth and coke. They were probably going between meth, coke, and heroin in binges and drinking heavily the entire time because that's what these people do. As you can see, obviously, Floyd is not participating because he's on some sort of intoxicant. And I bet the vast majority of people who went to the protest never bothered to look at the actual footage of what happened. So here's for CNN's got some different shots, some good shots on this page.
Look, the police coming straight from the underground. They got it bad because they're young, black, and they brown.
Floyd.
So you can hear.
Yeah, looks like a great guy there.
The grief here. And
Hold on.
Pain and
Sorry.
grief and frustration with seeing this happen to yet another.
I think I started a little bit.
His family says surveillance video from a restaurant
Not at the right time.
disproves that claim.
They say
They're
it
right.
disproves
If you
that
look
claim,
at
dude.
just the videos that we've all been able to see, both us in the media and the public, many of them taken from bystanders, but also the surveillance video that we'd like to.
You got to look at the composition of CNN. They tell you whatever you want. They want to hear in order to get you to watch their media. They put all black people, gay people, women, minority people of color, so that you'll watch it, so they trust them. They're Ivory Tower liberals, dude.
So here's the thing, and look,
The police coming straight from the underground. They got it bad because they're young, black, and they brown.
so you can hear the pain, you can hear the grief here, and that pain.
These, see, you can see her. They're like, so here's the struggle to get Floyd onto the ground. They're putting him in the cop car. Then boom. And the black buttons, notice that only half of them are white. Then here we go to the video of him on the ground on the other side of the car. And I want you to look at their body weight. Look, hey, where's his body weight at? Dude, I wrestled in high school. His body weight's not on his neck, dude. They're pinning him. They don't have their body weight on him. The dude's complaining he can't breathe. There's a bunch of people around them. Right? He can't breathe because he's having a heart attack or a COVID. He's having a COVID related. He can't breathe. COVID. Can't breathe. Pneumonia. See, that's the thing you got to understand is that you can't tell. You don't know how much weight they're putting on the back. Oh, there's the restaurant that they showed again. Why did they show this one again? See, notice it's the mulatto. It's easier to half black, half white. Come on, man, I'm a mulatto, dude. I ain't saying half black, half white. Oh no, he's a. What else am I supposed to say?
Right, that's bro. That's bro. You stopping his breathing right there, bro.
Okay, he's talking.
Hold on. I can't breathe. But what you need to notice is that George Floyd, right before he dies, he says, "My stomach hurts. My entire body hurts." And I thought it was on that clip. I don't know if it had that. I thought it was in the other one that I just... So...
Coronavirus. Stay informed.
See, it's scary. You got to be scared. You got to click on the ads, bro. This is what you have to understand. It's a fear tactic. It's an emotion tactic. You have to be scared of Corona. You know, why did our economy just collapse, dude? Because of the media class, dude. Oh, and then they just clickbait. It's like it wasn't even the thing that they said it was, dude. That's how these people are sneaky. This media class, Ivory Tower liberals, these are the biggest skis bags you can find. I don't know if the clip found it and said it, but you can verify. Go and look for it yourself. He says he's on his stomach. The guy's got his pinning him on his back, but they're saying, "What are you on, dude? Like, just get up, man. Come on, just get up. You got a crowd of people around. Why are they trying to kill this dude when there's a crowd of people around him, dude? Like, there's only 50% white police officers." You know, the reason why everybody's protesting is because the narrative is white cop killed unarmed police officer. Hands up, don't shoot, right? I helped start the 26 Portland anti-Trump protests. I was out there with these protesters. I thought the same thing. I used to be a radicalized, a rad femme, dude. I used to be one of the rad femmes. They kicked out of the Ivory Tower. I'm an engineer. Because my GPA was 2.9 and I failed some classes, and the foreign exchange students have better grades and they pay more money. So I got replaced by an immigrant, basically somebody, a foreign exchange student, because they want to be more prestigious and because it's a meritocracy and they don't care about the white guys. Dude, 2/3 of the people coming out of college are women. The males aren't doing so good because the older guys are paying stuff for the women and the women. Because they're saying, and then they're saying they're oppressed, so they get all of these benefits. It gets biased towards them, and next thing you know, it flip-flops, and women have 2/3 of the money, and they're on this bullshit narrative like, "I'm underpaid. Why are these white women out here in the first place, dude?" Because they think they're underpaid. They're not out here protesting for Black Lives Matter. They're protesting for more money for white women, dude. They don't give a fuck about a methed out black dude in the hood who just fucking passed off a counterfeit bill. He was on COVID and he died of a heart attack and he had meth and fentanyl in the system. They don't care about that person. They're there protesting because it benefits them, because they rise up in their social hierarchy and they get more money at work. Call them out. It's called white feminism, dude. So what's this one? And so this is another example of Ivory Tower liberalism here. You got all these Ivory Tower liberals just kiss anybody's ass to get elected, get you to click on their stuff, give them money, dude. They're snakes, man. They're in the Ivory Tower. Think about it. They're in skyscrapers in the big city, dude. How much money do those things cost, right? Huge, massive amount of money. How much money are they making? Massive amount of money, right? Where's this money coming from? All this shit that they're clicking on the internet, dude. They're not selling stuff to locals, dude. They're selling stuff to all people. It's all the people in the Ivory Towers. The Ivory Towers are the skyscrapers. The people who work in the skyscrapers, the rich ones. Not all of them are rich. The other ones are rad femmes and hood Democrats, dude. See, I started this company called the A Startup, and I've invented this technology that helps translate your notes into UML, right? So I'm a UML geek, so I know all about hierarchy, right? These people are trying to rise up to the top of the hierarchy. That's what they're trying to do, dude. So the LA mayor, he cuts $150 million from cops' budget and gives it to communities of color, instead declaring he's committed to, quote, making this moment not just a moment. Exactly, dude. These people talk into a mirror. They're talking into a mirror when they say white people are racist. It's them. They're at the top of the Ivory Tower. They don't hire black people, dude. Their grades suck. I'm not all the black kids, right? There's a lot of smart black people, but most of the black kids, in the hood Democrats' grades suck, right? So, and then they did another one, like giving away the people's money to illegal immigrants recently in California. Why? Why are they giving money to illegal immigrants who didn't get money from the federal government? I mean, that's to help our economy out, right? That's to help the U.S. economy out, right? No, they gave it to the illegal immigrant Latino community. Why? Why is this dude, this sleazebag piece of shit, Ivory Tower liberal, why is he giving everybody else's money, the white people's money? Because you know the black people and the Latinos are rich, right? Why? Why is he even there? And it's the, you know, who's got 2/3 of the money? Who has 2/3 of the money? Women. They're giving away the women's money, dude. They're giving away the white women's money. What the fuck? These people are sleazebags, dude. And why? They want you to vote for them. They're pandering to the Latinos because they vote for Democrats. If they can't legalize the immigrants and make them vote for them, they're going to boost their population and their children will vote for Democrats. And they'll boost the number of House seats that they have. These little sleazebag pieces of shit are harboring illegal immigrants to boost Democratic votes. They're white supremacists, dude. I mean, you think these people changed, dude? You got one. I got a bridge to sell you, bro. So let's look at the ethnicity of who is in Los Angeles, right? So race, ethnicity, and national origin. You can see that LA is 47.5% Latino. It is 27.9% white people, 10% Asians, black and African Americans, 9.8%. There's hardly any black people there, dude. It's not even a black community, dude. It's a Latino. This is how you do it, dude. When you pander to minority groups, dude, somebody has to be brutalized, and then you have to make a house N-word in order to enforce the caste, the 5-tier racial caste system, right? So what you have to do is you have to have a narrative, right? So the people down here, these are the people who are. See, this is the thing. They help out the minority of people. Like, oh, why don't you help out the majority of people who are getting shot by police? Right? That would be white people. Whoa! Right? Who needs the money the most? The illegal immigrants? Do the black people need the money the most? In LA? Who needs the money? The people who are selling drugs? We want the gangbangers in LA to have more money, right? Make gangbanging just a little bit easier in LA, right? That's why these people are sleazebags. They don't help the majority of people out because they're in the ivory tower. Most of the white guys don't have good enough grades. The black kids don't have enough grades. You're not getting a job in the ivory tower, bro. You're a hood Democrat. You're a rad fam, dude. You got an African American studies or a woman studies degree, dude. The only thing you're qualified to do now is to hire minorities and women to replace the white guys. See, I'm an engineer. I work with these people. I'm the UML guy. I figured the hierarchy out. And, they go off of misinformation. And so they want to be the first people to report on the story. They want everybody to like their post. They're like, oh my God, how could anybody think that this is the way liberals think? Why? Because they value fairness and group loyalty over authority and cleanliness and authority. Steven Pinker's universal morals. You have authority, self-protection. Yeah, self-protection. They don't care about self-protection, right? It's the hierarchy of what classes of morals you think are more important, right? Democrats, what's the most important moral to a Democrat? Fairness. What's before, next to that, group loyalty. Below that, authority. So their authority is not the government; it's to their group loyalty. You gotta see who's their loyalty to their group, and if you violate that group norm, then they kick you out. They say, "Oh my God, how could you even think that?" You know, like Donald Trump. He said, Donald Trump's not a fucking scientist, dude. Like, he's talking to some scientists, and they're like, "Hey, man, this stuff can kill COVID. UV light and these disinfectants can kill COVID." And he's like, ask some doctor, "Can you do that on your insides?" And then all the liberals are like, "Oh my God, Donald Trump said you could disinfect your insides." Ah! And guess what? Turns out it's true. You can disinfect your insides with UV light. All these people are making these joke videos saying Donald Trump's an idiot. Donald Trump is the 1%. He's the one they can't control. They can't give Donald Trump a cushy job at Goldman Sachs for doing what they want because he's a billionaire. He is the king of the Jews, the savior of the white people. He's the great white savior. He's the one that spoke up about illegal immigration to stop these people, to stop the Democrats from having sanctuary state, not just sanctuary city, a sanctuary state, where 4 out of 5 illegal immigrants are getting across the border, and they have massive gang and terrorist cartel problems. They have 20 illegal immigrants per homeless person on the street. You got ivory towers all over the place, and you've got homeless people banging cartel dope, taking shits on the sidewalk everywhere, dude. You can literally, on almost any block, you can get cholera, Hep C, AIDS, typhoid fever. You can get dysentery, you can get the Black Plague and TB all in the same place from stepping on a pile of human shit with a hypodermic needle in it next to some dude who just coughed. And you can get COVID and die. These are ivory tower liberals and rad femmes and hood Democrats. And who's the Antifa? Who's the Antifa? They're the fucking street dudes rioting. They're the ones on the street. They're all together. The rad femmes are like, "Oh, I'm getting oppressed by the ivory tower liberals. It's the white man. Because they're in the ivory tower. They're like, well, oppressing me." And it turns out it's some liberal, dude. Who controls Silicon Valley? It's 87% liberal. Who controls Twitter? Who controls Facebook? Who controls Quora? Who controls all of these sources, quote unquote, information services turn out to be actually publishers and not platforms. Because if it was a platform, it'd be like a telephone carrier where they couldn't deny you service. They're there to, like, if it's miscategorized, it's miscategorized, but your speech is your speech. That's an information service, right? Miscategorizing something in an information service is what you do. That's what you do. But what you don't do in an information service is suppress free speech, allow people to distribute pornography to minors without doing anything like Facebook's doing with this encrypted messaging protocol thing, because people are distributing child pornography. They're getting a pass from this copyright laws like tort slander for libel, slander, tort offenses, like a publisher would, a newspaper, because they're an information service, because they're supposed to be like a common carrier. They're supposed to be like a phone service, right? But instead, what they're trying to do is maximize the amount of ads that you see. So they put out shit like this where it's all a meme. See, these are all hood Democrats clicking, mostly hood Democrats, because they live in the city. That's where most of the liberals live. They're clicking on these all this stuff on Facebook, all these fake news articles, and it's because it fits their narrative. It's because it helps them rise up in their social hierarchy, and it helps them make the white man rise down in the social hierarchy. Here we can see another example here of clickbait. I don't put all of these news sources up here because they're good. I put them up here because they're garbage a lot of times. Okay, so here's the Daily Mail. It's a UK newspaper. And so the rest of the world's joining in on these ivory tower liberals because they're not just Americans. The media class is international. So all of these other newspapers, there's no crime problem in Europe, dude. Like except for from the migrants, right? The economic migrants, they said were refugees. But as it turned out, they had a massive human smuggling operation and they were funneling all these migrants. Dude, it was like, and then The white people, they don't have crime around there, dude. Like crimes, like the stuff the black people do would be nuts over there, dude. And then they got black people over there, and guess what? Now they got all the same stuff the black people are doing here, right? And then they're all like, oh, I can't breathe up in Europe. I can't breathe. Like, that doesn't happen to people in Europe. They're protesting for people in America. You don't fucking live here, bro. You're in another country, man. Let's look at what actually happened, right?
Why am I getting out of the car?
You're stopped in the middle of the roadway. You're violating a traffic violation. So at this point, you are being detained. Do you understand?
I wasn't doing anything besides driving.
They made you look looked innocent. Looked like it was the cops brutalizing her, right? Like it was the cops' fault from the title of the article, right? Because it's clickbait.
No, but I don't think I've done anything to be detained for. Do not reach into my car. Do not reach into my car. Stop.
Hey, park the car.
Yeah.
Stop.
You get your window broken. No shit. Look at that title again. Let's look at the title again. Look at the misleading title. Shocking moment. It's always shocking moment because you won't click on it unless it's shocking, right? Deputy reaches into woman's car before smashing her window during a traffic stop. Oh, it's just a traffic stop, right? Near a George Floyd protest. What it should have read was, not shocking moment. Police break woman's who's resisting arrest window. That's not shocking. It's not news. It's clickbait. This is why you should like and subscribe to this channel, because I do this a lot and it's fun. So who's making the boogeyman, right? Besides Adolf Hitler. It's the Southern Poverty Law Center, dude, putting out all this boogeyman stuff. They're the source. They're the people they cite. And these people are sketchy as fuck, dude. Southern Poverty Law Center, they make their money off of this hate map, dude. And what they want you to do is donate, right? They do this thing and you need to be scared because there's a boogeyman coming to get you and you need to give money to them. And so they're in bed with these Ivory Tower liberals. Okay, so the people who run this SPLC, they're a bunch of underpaid interns, dude. So they're like, just got out of college. They should be making $80,000 to $150,000, $300,000 a year, except for they're making $20,000 to $30,000 a year as an intern. And they're doing a bunch of drugs and fighting with each other. So bunch of drugged out, crazy liberals, right? That's the people doing this shit, dude. Making a boogeyman through all these hate map things because they're the authoritative source. And what they do is they control Wikipedia, right? So what they do, here's an example of a boogeyman. I coined this term. It's the imaginary misogynistic pig imp boogeyman from MSNBC that mistreats women, abuses them, rapes them, won't let them vote, and puts burqas on them. Right? Because Muslims do that, right? But no. They're hiding amongst you. The boogeyman is amongst you. It's the men's rights activist. It's the father's rights people who want access to their children. Maybe some of them were piece of shit parents. They didn't pay their child support, but then their baby's mama stopped letting them see them. I personally my child got kidnapped by a radicalized feminist, held in a hoarder house where he was neglected. CPS came and luckily got my kid out and gave him back to me. It all happened because our state, I live in Oregon, which is heavily Democrat, and they bias everything towards the feminists, dude. Another story for another day. So they got the incels. These are these scary people, the scary misogynist. They're not in the manosphere, dude. No, that's not manosphere, dude. That's a lie. That's somebody saying these people are part of it because they believe red pill. But in reality, they're not. They're an evil, misogynistic hate. No, they're not all evil. They're mostly Asians who have like the women don't want to date them. And then there's some guys and they're all like, they're self-loathing. They hate themselves. Then you got your men going their own way, people. And those are the guys who don't want to date women anymore. Because if a woman doesn't want to date a guy because they're done with guys, that's perfectly fine, right? That's not misandry, right? But if a guy wants to give up on women and doesn't want to have women around, that is called misogyny. Treating them inferior by not being with them because men don't need women and women need men. Then this is why they hate them so much, dude, is the pickup artists have sex with them and then they leave them. And then fathers' rights groups, is, though they say men's rights is different than father's rights. All this stuff's baloney. It's baloney. And so what do? They say an opinion. They're supposed to say facts and tell you what it is. But then they say the manosphere has been associated with online harassment, some mass killing, some other real world violence, implicating radicalizing men and committing violence against. Okay, that's a bunch of fucking load of poor shit. They say it because some dude put a comment on there that sounded misogynistic. It's the same stuff they put on Facebook, right? And then the moderators removed it. But since somebody put it up, they said the whole group is like that. Because they're making a boogeyman, dude. That's what they've been doing. It's all below. Watch the Red Pill documentary from Cassie James. She goes through how she used to be a feminist and she thought men's rights was horrible demons. And then she actually interviewed them and she found out that they were not misogynists and the whole thing was bullshit. It was all radicalized. I'm not alone, dude. I'm just here giving you the news, bro. Real simple news. So here's what the other way they do it. The scary white nationalist, right? The people, the white genocide people, the scary people, right? And so what they do is there was a French guy that did the math. He's like, wait a minute, we have a birth rate. Each woman has to have 2.1 kids per people because there's a man and a woman. And if you stay under the replacement rate for long enough, then your people are going to die off, right? Because no shit, it's a birth rate. If it's 2.1 is 1. So the formula is whatever your birth rate is divided by 2.1. You want to scale it, or divided by 2.1, scale it. This is a normalizing phase. And then you subtract 1 from that, and then, or half, 0.5, sorry. What you do is you normalize it. And then you put it around. What you're trying to do is you're normalizing the access to a line that you can get like a slope of a line. And then when you put the birth rate, it's negative. It's a negative slope, right? It's a negative slope when you have a birth rate that's under 2.1. It's negative. Or you subtract 1 because it has to be if it's under 2.1, it has to be negative. So. I'm sorry, my math might be off. Sorry, but you can do it yourself and figure it out. So in Europe they have anti-hate speech laws because European Nazis were Marxist, dude. They were all Marxist, communist, dude. Like Nazis aren't far right. See, Hitler invented this whole thing in order to brainwash you to get you to be on his side, dude. Because why? He modeled these laws after Jim Crow laws to scare out black people, right? Why? Was he killing black people? No. He wanted to keep the Africans out of the war, right? Scare off the black people, and then they'll scare off all the poor people. They wanted to kill the poor people and the rich people, the Jews. And then they used scientific... we'll get into it. Scientific racism. They created it to help get their friends out of the concentration camps. Yeah. No shit, dude. They weren't racist. They wanted to kill the 1%. So... they use this great, so it's all a bunch of like stuff. They say far right. What does far right mean? Left and right means racist versus non-racist. So they say, but then they say, it's capitalist versus non-capitalist, right? This is how Hitler brainwashed you. The fucking genius, dude. He brainwashed you. Because what do you do if you go past the far left? You go to communism, or the far left is communism. In America, that was racism. That was the Democrats. It was backwards. It was the other way around, right? This is how authoritarians trick you. They make everything backwards. It's a disinformation campaign, dude. Disinformation campaign. They wanted to kill the 1% and all the poor people to make a socialist utopia so that all of the other they wanted to scare everybody out of Europe, all the poor people, all the rich people, and then the rest of the country, the rest of the world would be poor. And then they would start fighting fascism versus communism until all of the dominoes fell and it was socialism in the end, right? So they're saying this is white nationalism. This is the boogeyman. The Southern Poverty Law Center boogeyman. The imaginary misogynistic pig boogeyman that's shooting the black people. So they said it's a theory, right? And that is far right. The dude who came up with it is just a conservative. He's not a racist. So they say it's far right because racist. Some white supremacists think that, right? That's why it's racist, right? No, It's not racist because white supremacists think the world is round. Is that racist too, right? No, it's not racist, right? Because the problem is, if white people's birth rate, when you look at them, is like my generation fell off a cliff, dude. We're at like a 1.5 birth rate. The black people fell off a cliff. They're at 1.6 birth rate recently. And then the Asian Americans, they're at like they're way down. They're like 1.4, and then they go even worse. Some of them are at like 1 birth per woman. They're like only children, right? And so this kills off your genetic line, right? So your people start to shrink really fast. And then if you have immigrant, like Latino birth rate is over 2 now. It's over 2. They don't have any dips in their birth rate. They don't have, it will only happen to the white people, the black people, and the Asians, right? How is it white supremacist if it happens to black people, Asians, and white people all at the same time? Right? They said that it's white supremacist because racist people believe it, right? But they don't have anything in there. Let's look at the United States, right? So this should have birth rate numbers. It should say, it's not real. It's not actually happening. There's no demographic change, right? That's not happening. Except for, what does it say? Something about the people who believe it, the Unite the Right rally, right? The boogeyman. They start with the boogeyman. You got to look for this shit, dude. It's the boogeyman from the SPLC, dude. You have to, I'm the hierarchy. I'm the UML guy. I put the hierarchy to this shit, dude. So you'll notice this is after that. Like, wait a minute, birth rates, this is stuff that's been going on for a while, dude. It doesn't happen overnight. Where's the birth rate stuff, right? Where is it at, dude? Where's the Stephen King? What the fuck does he have to do with this, dude? Right? What the fuck does Dennis Baxley have anything to do? What does the Republican Party have to do with this? Right? Where does it say anything about Latinos? Where does it say anything about sanctuary state, California, not enforcing their border policies because they want Latino children vote, first generation Latino Americans vote for Democrats, right? If they voted for Republicans, they'd kick them out. They don't enforce their border policy because they vote for Democrats, dude. They're literally replacing the white people because the white guys' grades aren't good enough. Black kids' grades aren't good enough. And they're hiring people with women's studies and African American studies degrees to hire minorities. But the black kids' grades aren't good enough. So all they're doing is targeting Latinos. Why? Because they're their customers. The women control 2/3 of the wealth in the United States. They're the customers. That's who they're targeting the ads to. Well, that pisses you off, huh? Right? So they put this narrative like, right? Hold on. So look at it. You got these, okay, these people are praying. Right? They're praying for him. But what are they doing? They're bowing before the fucking black people, dude. They're not praying for him, dude. These people are on stage because they're trying to rise up in the media hierarchy. And they're not praying for him, dude. They're trying to rise up in their hierarchy by the white man bowing down to the black man. Like, bro, look, the reason why people were white supremacists back in the day is because white people were supreme. They controlled the world, dude. Everybody else was fucking savages, dude. Straight up, the white supremacists were like some of the normalest people out there, right? The crazy people were the fucking Africans who sold themselves into slavery, right? The people who are like marching, stabbing people, chopping their fucking heads off. You've got an albino over there. You got all the Africans fucking hacking them up and putting their bones up with some tiger bones, selling them off to the Chinese. They're ripping out the Galena clan, selling it out to the Mexican cartel so they can get high as fucking sea lizard people, man. And they say the white man's bad. It's like, dude, you want to know why there's no more white supremacy? Because the Asians are supreme right now, dude. White people aren't stupid. That's why. They know they're not the supreme people. Asians are on top. That's why they're not white supremacists, dude. I love all these people, dude. I mean, so this is what happens. This is what happens when you do stuff like this.
Away from me,
Hey, leave her alone.
You get some crazy idiot white guy, because remember, white supremacists were the stupid ones, right? You just tell the poor people whatever they want to hear so you can stay in power, right? Like Democrats, right? So what you get is you get some crazed asshole, some idiot white dude.
Just get out of here.
Doing all kinds of fucked up shit, dude. Look, throws the bike at her because they're pissed. You just rioted and destroyed and targeted white businesses because of fake news from Ivory Tower liberals, dude, and rad femmes and hood Democrats, dude. And then all the Ivory Tower liberals just start lining up to kiss ass. Here's the royal family of England coming in here to interfere with our electoral process because black people in England are so oppressed. See, this is what you got to look at it, dude. She wants to rise up. She wants to be popular. She's kissing ass to be popular. None of them they don't care if it's true. They don't care what's true, because if you don't believe it, they kick you out of their social circle, dude. This is the British royal family, dude. Like, I'm sorry, you're not a fucking American anymore. You're part of the royal family of another country. You're not American, you're British. Yeah, they're just joining in. There's a chorus of them, dude. We could just search celebrities praise Black Lives Matter, right? Every Black Lives Matter protest, celebrities who attended, everybody went. It's the big event. You got to be there, right? Only one problem. It wouldn't have happened had they not been there. The riots and the looting happened because they're there, because they benefited from it, because they rise up in their white feminist social hierarchy. And back to the immigration thing. Here's the sorry, the slides were out of order. Here's more proof on the birth rates of the Latinos here. Let's look at where they're at. So here is the annual growth rate of the white population. You can see that it's trending downwards. And the minority growth, they're all trending downwards, right? They were high, they were here. And so why is the Latino population growing then? Why are they growing? Why is it that 25% of people born today are from immigrants? Why? Why? It's because California is a sanctuary state, dude. I live in Oregon, right? These transients from California are coming up and taking shits and banging heroin on my streets, jacking up my rent, dude. We don't like California people here. We don't want people from the East Coast coming over and taking the West Coast and vice versa. We don't want California coming up to Oregon. Why? Because we have a culture. The people from California are not like us, dude. They're Ivory Tower liberals, hood Democrats, and rad femmes, dude. And we like the conservative Latinos. You know any hot Latinas who are single? Hook me up, bro. Like, I will straight up, I want an immigrant wife, a Latina. I want to help these people become part of America. I want to be part of their family. I want them to be part of my family. If you can't beat them, join them. Hashtag Latinas. You see, the way you see, you got to start voting with your penis, man. Every party we go to, right? At the end of the night, what do? You kick out all the guys so you can impregnate the women. Why? Because American supremacy, bro. Like, yeah. Americans first, bro. You got to kick out all the illegal immigrants from, most of them are from Mexico. Let's look at where they're from. Sorry, that wasn't supposed to be there. Here, look, here, immigration numbers, right? Look, projected population based upon immigration numbers. U.S. Census Data Bureau numbers. Why is this not in Wikipedia, right? Why is it not there? Why is it not there? Because Wikipedia tech companies are run by liberals, by immigrants. They got rid of the white people. They hired minorities and women, remember? So look, all based off, we have either a decrease in population or increase in population based upon the immigration numbers. Great replacement. It's proof from the U.S. government. Wikipedia is lying to you in order to force a narrative to create a white nationalist boogeyman. Dude, if white people controlled America, it'd be called a democracy, dude. If minorities control America, it'd be called authoritarianism, like Democrats have been doing the entire time. Where are these people coming from? Where are they coming from? Most of them coming in are from Mexico. Half of them are coming in from South America or Central America. And they leave the Asians alone. They got a low birth rate, right? They got a low birth rate, dude. Leave them alone. And then Europe. Look out the crescendo. Look at the small amount now. We just crescendo, dude. And that's because the birth rate problem is the same in Europe, dude. They have this massive human smuggling operation. And people from Africa and the Middle East, they have birth rates of like 5 or 6 people per woman, dude. When you give them socialism, dude, their birth rates explode. Why do they want these migrants in Europe? Because they vote for liberals, dude. Liberals are the biggest... Dude, Nazis were freaking Marxists, man. Liberals are the biggest authoritarian skis bag pieces of shit, dude. The conservatives freed the slaves because they were Christians and they thought that was evil. Right? Republicans aren't fucking racist. So the numbers are over 50% of the illegal immigrants are from Mexico. Over 50% of them. 1 in 20 people from Mexico is in the United States illegally. 1 in 20. In my state, 1 in 20 people's from Mexico. It's because Californians don't want to enforce their border policies because first generation Latino Americans vote for Democrats. If they voted for Republicans, they'd kick them out. That's skis ball piece of shit. That's the Ivory Tower liberals, dude. And so we can see that Mexico is not sending us their best people. Yes, sir, some of them are good people, but they're sending us rapists, they're sending us drug dealers, they're sending us cartel members and terrorists, dude. 4 out of 5 illegal immigrants get through. That's why we have MS-13 here. That's why, because everybody who's good stayed in Mexico, remember? Right? It was like all the people at the bottom of the barrel that migrated up. We don't want a mass. It's illegal to harbor them. First off, we don't want them here. Democracy is majority consensus. 76.5% of people are white. Dude, we don't want them here because we want democracy. We don't want drug cartels kidnapping people, putting bombs on their chests so they'll rob banks, like was on the last episode of Real Simple News, right? We don't want that. We don't want terrorist cartels. Terrorist cartels have been participating in the riots. Why? Because they hate white people. They're putting stuff in the drugs to kill you, dude, because they hate white people. Because why? They want to kick them out, dude. They hate them. They want to kill them. They want to kill the Republicans. They want to kill everybody that kicks them out because they're fucking terrorists, dude. You know, it's like the key takeaways from Latino voters in the 28 midterms was as follows. Yeah, look. Most of the white people are voting with Republicans. Why? Why are the Asians voting with the Democrats? The immigration policy from the Republicans helps Asians out because their birth rate's down, dude. It's dangerous, bro. It's dangerous. They might be in control of the tech companies now, but their birth rate's so low, that's just a temporary thing, bro. Why? It's because where are the Asians at? Where are the Asians at? In the cities with the tech companies, dude. Where are the black people at? In the cities. The hood Democrats. Who are these people? White feminists. Who are these people? Socialist Latinos. Love conservative Latinos. I think they're great. Lovely people. So what you have to understand is that, like, the Nazis, they wanted to rob the Jews because they were the 1%. They blamed the Jews for hyperinflation. The night of the broken glass, when they raged the Jews' businesses, they killed 91 people. 11 people died at the Floyd protests. We're only 11% Nazi. So you know, it's not all over. But the thing that wasn't discovered until actually very recently was that the Nazis actually coordinated with the Russians. They did a false flag operation. You know how they were selling arms to both sides? Right. Yeah, we've known this for a while, right? Why were they selling arms to both sides? Because they were both on the same side. This Gleichschwitz incident, it was a false flag operation to start the war. The Russians didn't show up till like 2 weeks later, and they took over this radio station so that they can, make everybody know we're getting invaded, right? And they dressed up some dead prisoners, killed a farmer to make it look like they were getting invaded. And why did they do that? They were geniuses, dude. These people, this was brilliant. We didn't even figure it out for almost 80 years later, dude. Because this stuff wasn't discovered until, you look at the references, it wasn't discovered till after the year 2000. It was something that was not available. It was not available because we didn't have it. We didn't know we knew they sold arms to each other, right? Why? Because they created a false dichotomy where far right and far left both went the same way, dude. Authoritarianism, man. You flip everything backwards. You do a disinformation campaign. You pit both sides against each other. It's a classic move. It's an authoritarian move, man. So Hitler, what they were doing, they invented scientific racism to help their friends get out of the concentration camps. Right? That's why there's like, there's whoever they wanted to save, they would use this scientific racism to get them out. They wanted to kill the 1% because they were Marxist. Over 50% of them was Marxist, okay? And if you don't believe me, there's this article here, how communists in Germany allied with Nazis to destroy democracy. The article outlines how I did another episode on this, so I'm just not going to go in detail on it. But there's another one here in Real Simple News. If you look back in the archives, it was one of the thumbnails. Lead stories, I mean. So what it was the communist and the fascist, which they were plotting together to overthrow the democratic socialists. Bernie Sanders is a Jew, too, which I think is so strange. So they were Marxist. Over 50% of them were Marxist. Fascism was a means to an end. They created fascism as a means to the end to create a conflict between the fascist and the communist so that they could topple the rest of the world with socialism and keep the Africans out of the war. Why? Hitler modeled his policies after Jim Crow laws, Democrat laws. But he thought the Democrats were too racist. So you have to ask the question, how is Hitler a white supremacist if he thought the Democrats were too racist? Well, the answer to that one is that Hitler was not a white supremacist. He was a Marxist. He was inventing a boogeyman on the far right to make it a polar opposite, a dichotomy, like politicians do, to present a false narrative where either far left or far right, either side you picked, you were picking Marxism. That's why they did it. Genius plan. It was easier for them to coordinate the front. Less people would die if they fought themselves because they can coordinate it. And then it's like a 1-2 punch. You think they're fighting really hard against the Soviets, right? No, they're killing poor people, dude. That's what they're doing. They kill so they could take the money, right? They want the money. They're thieves. They're like gang thugs, dude. They're trying to kill the poor people and take the money. So they just fucking basically put them in a big pit and kill them, right? And then on the other side, you got your troops. You think they're diverted over there, right? No, dude. They're trying to create the presence of Superman, dude. It's the presence of Superman to scare off the Africans and the Chinese and the Indians, dude. If they would have joined the war, then there's no way they could have won. The only way that the Nazis could win is if they scared everybody off and then just made it so just the white people were killing each other. They were trying to get the Americans to fight with them. The Americans were the white supremacists, right? White supremacists killed Nazis, dude. Why? Nazis killed white people, remember? It's a brain fuck, dude. It's authoritarianism, dude. That's what they do. It's a disinformation campaign. Smart little motherfuckers, huh? All they wanted to do was install Marxism. They didn't care. Fascism was their second choice. They wanted pure socialist utopia. That was what they wanted. It was socialist utopia. What's preventing that? The Jews. Are all the Jews preventing that? No. Jews are also their friends and family. So what do? Well, you invent scientific racism to get your friends and family out of the concentration camps. And to trick all of the other people to think that they're superior, hop them up on methamphetamines and then send them off to their death so that after the war, there's no more poor people or rich people. That is the genius mastermind of plot of Adolf Hitler. And with that, I must bid you adieu. Thank you for watching Real Simple News on June 4th, 2020. It's actually June 5th, but these articles are from June 4th. And there's more news coming up. If you want to come back, I'm going to be reading more RSS news, top RSS news articles from the intellectual dark web, hosted by your host, yours truly, Cale McCullough, the captain of the Kabuki Starship. And until next time, as I say every time, farewell, aloha, sayonara, peace be with you, and Godspeed in your journeys.